8:08 a.m. news and views on Salam Media. My name is Julie Ali. Thank you for joining me, and I do hope, inshallah, you'll keep me company right up until 10 o'clock today. And like I've said, our first guest is on standby, and he is a governance expert. He is Professor Sam Koma. A very good morning to you. Welcome to the program. Nice to be talking with you once again.
Morning, Julie. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so we've noticed on the weekend that Mmusi Maime has been making um, all sorts of press statements. He's been on TV, etc., mainstream media, talking about his candidacy for president come the 2024 elections. What I do have to say before I allow you to respond to that is he, of course, is the leader of Build One South Africa. And he has, of course, officially announced standing for president in the 2024 elections. I admire the man very much. I think he's he makes the right noises on public platforms, but he's been very quiet up to now. What are the chances that he would even be considered, or he would get the numbers, enough numbers for this to become a reality?
Oh, yes. Yes, thanks, Julie. So it's a very interesting development, of course, in our country that we now have officially Mr. Mmusi Maime announcing his participation in the next national elections, which will be held in 2024. So what he needs to do is to present a compelling vision to the electorate of South Africa through engaging in different forums involving communities, the business community, labor structures, and also the faith organizations, professionals, and also the youth structures, among others. And also articulate clearly what does his party, which is Build One South Africa, stands for, what are its values, its principles, but very important, its political program of action. So he's entering a space that is highly competitive and also contested, because now we know that there are quite a number of political parties that have registered their participation for the forthcoming national election. So he has to work very hard in terms of marshalling resources. He needs resources to be able to engage in these different forums, and also in terms of engaging in political campaigns, and also prepare himself to do door-to-door campaigns through the length and breadth of the country, prepare himself for any potential national debates that would be initiated by the media, for example, use those as part of articulating his vision and also the vision of his party. And as I said, what does his party stands for? So he's got an advantage because he formerly served as a member of parliament and the leader of an opposition party. So he's known to the segments of the electorate, but it is not given that come the 2024 national elections, he'll be elected the President of the Republic of South Africa. So because the setback of his party is that currently his party is not participating in any of the legislatures, in the provinces, for example, in the municipal councils, and also parliament, in contrast to other parties that currently are participating in this body. So, in other words, his party does not have track record to be judged on, because he's yet to participate formally in an election and win the elections so that he can be represented, or his party can be represented in parliament. So the only way we can judge him is his previous record as a member of parliament in another political party, and also as a former leader of the opposition in parliament.
He was the former DA leader, obviously of the political party, the DA. Currently, we understand he has more than 20,000 members. His party turned a year old on Heritage Day. Let's understand what went wrong with his relationship with the DA? And going forward, could he build on what was the downfall, his downfall back then in the DA, or was it a situation of really the DA wanting to just have black faces in the forefront, but the white, the white members of the DA would really be pulling the strings from in the background?
Yes, Julie, you are quite right. So, electoral performance of political parties in the country over the past decade reveals that most of these parties tend to perform well in an election by drawing support from dominant parties they split from. For example, the National Freedom Party got a chunk of its support from the IFP because it's a splinter party of the IFP. The Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF, got a bigger chunk of its support by eating into the electoral support of the ANC because it's a splinter party of the ANC. Equally, Build One South Africa, led by Mmusi Maime, as a former leader of the DA, you're quite right, he's likely to eat into the support base of the DA because he comes from the DA. Equally, the leader of Action SA itself, led by Herman Mashaba, is likely to do the same, to eat into the support base of a dominant party, which it was a splinter party of that party. Now, we know for a fact that Mmusi Maime left the DA, resigned his positions, and also he's on record having said that he did that out of principle, and also he felt that the DA was no longer a party that accommodates all racial groups. And that's the reason when he launched his political party, named Build One South Africa, he then took that theme, which is diversity, non-racialism, building one South Africa that accommodates all the racial groups, as part of the vision that he wants to present to South Africa and through his political party. But the 20,000 number is quite small because at the moment, Action SA, the other day, they were saying we are sitting at 300,000.
But still, 300,000, still, I don't think is anywhere near enough to garner, Okay, your picture is freezing. Let's go for our first ad break and see if we can reconnect with you. Please stand by.
Listen to something fresh. Listen to Salam Media, your humanitarian broadcaster.
Sponsor an orphan, and you'll help support a vulnerable child to have the education they've always dreamed of, so they can build a brighter future. You'll be feeding a hungry stomach and a hungry mind with knowledge that will last them a lifetime. That's the power of an education. Sponsor an orphan now with Islamic Relief.
There's no smell that takes me back to the comfort of my childhood than the smell of black seed oil being applied by my nanny. Now I'm using Tib black seed in my own home to soothe sniffles and coughs, to help with digestion and immunity, and of course, as part of my beauty routine. After all these years, I've come to appreciate the wisdom in finding comfort and shifa in trusted treatments like Tib black seed. You can find Tib black seed at all leading pharmacies or find out more at blackseed.co.za.
Conveniently located along the banks of the Crocodile River bordering the Kruger National Park, as a guest at Buckler's Africa Lodge, one can enjoy an amazing sunrise or sunset on our spacious deck area while you catch a glimpse of some wildlife sightings along the Crocodile River. The sounds of the African savannah will greet you whilst you enjoy your morning coffee. Buckler's Africa Lodge, by Tingana Collection. Buckler's Africa Lodge is ideally situated only 6 kilometers from the Crocodile Bridge Gate in the Kruger National Park. Catering for all travelers with variety, we have 4 types of the finest rooms: superior rooms, deluxe suites, and 2-bedroomed family units. Each room is equipped with the finest amenities to make your stay unforgettable. Guests can choose between the self-catering option or book their accommodation with breakfast and dinner included. Buckler's Africa Lodge is your ideal location for the ultimate Kruger getaway experience. We specialize in exhilarating and educational game drives in Kruger, tailor-made to suit your family. Inquire about our various accommodation offerings and other activities. Visit www.tingana.co.za for more information. Buckler's Africa Lodge by Tingana Collection. Experience the pulse of Africa with us.
Ah, the kitchen, the heart of the home, where memories are made and celebrated. Our go-to place for those freshly stacked pancakes early in the morning or for the late-night snack munchies. We are in there together, cooking, eating and celebrating life together. Let's keep the kitchen a place that is shared by everyone, where we build stronger bonds and grow together. Sunfoil, Now We Cooking. Visit nowwecooking.co.za for recipes that everyone can help make.
When the perfect blend of stylish decor, exquisite halal cuisine, and warm hospitality come together, it could only mean Al Bayt Lodge, your true home away from home. Al Bayt is the ideal heaven for families, business people, and tourists, with its 4-star family rooms and other luxurious facilities. Conveniently situated close to Port Elizabeth Airport, the beach, and other amenities, your stay will be truly unforgettable, as you'll be taking home lasting memories of the warm hospitality, the serenity and tranquility that Al Bayt has to offer. For reservations, call 041 583 6415 or visit www.albaytlodge.co.za.
Breaking stereotypes, moving boundaries, joining hands. Salam Media. Humanity sets the agenda.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome back. It is exactly 8:20 a.m. News and Views on Salam Media. And thank goodness we've managed to reconnect with Professor Sam Koma. We are talking about Mmusi Maime and his new party, BOSA. Does BOSA have an influence on South African politics with a membership of a mere 20,000 members? Welcome back, Professor. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thanks, Judy.
Okay, you alluded to Action SA and suggested that they have a membership of 300,000. That also is not a huge number. And I'm kind of wondering, if memory serves me correctly, a little while back, there were talks between Herman Mashaba and Mmusi Maime to start up their own party. That, in my mind, seems to be a great option, because together I think they can be so much stronger. What are your thoughts on such a partnership, or would it be a situation of really two very strong leaders and maybe not space for both of them to be on the same platform?
Yes, Julie, a very interesting question. Yes, you're right. So you remember they both left the Democratic Alliance at the same time, and they went into different platforms. One, Mr. Herman Mashaba opted to initiate a civil society movement that led to the launching or formation of Action SA. But now it tells you that Action SA, through Herman Mashaba, was able to work the ground. So hence they have this sizable number of membership relative to many political parties that cannot even amass such a number of 300,000 membership. So they've done very well in that respect. But it also means that Mr. Maime should also ensure that he now works very hard in terms of selling his vision, because the advantage he has is that he's relatively known to the electorate by virtue of the fact that he led a political party before, he served in parliament, in the opposition benches, leading that party and also confronting the governing party. So that's the plus he has, because his brand is there, he's known. It's just that he has to start doubling his efforts in terms of engaging with the electorate more, and also engaging with various structures as part of selling the vision of his party, and also ensuring that he amasses also large resources to be able to participate in the different platforms as part of his political campaign, and also thus ensuring that he's able to get into the national elections space next year, when officially, obviously, these parties will be contesting for the elections.
Professor, talk to my question about Mmusi Maime, BOSA, and Action SA forming a coalition. Do you not think
Yes.
with two such charismatic, strong leaders, they could truly go forward and garner much bigger numbers than they are doing individually? And I again ask you that question, would perhaps that not be possible simply because they are two such strong leaders, such charismatic leaders in their own right?
Yes, Judy. No, they can work as a pact. We have seen movements in that respect. AZAPO and the Pan-Africanist Congress, PAC, they're currently engaging in an election pact. But these are totally different political parties. We have seen other parties also convening a national convention to agree on a broad set of principles. So these are two leaders. They know each other. They worked they worked together very well before in the DA. They can set aside their differences and present a united front in terms of engaging with the electorate. But I think that can only happen after the elections. I don't see that happening at the moment, where they decide to collapse whatever campaigns they are engaged in and come up with one united election campaign. I don't see that happening. But I see that happening once the elections are concluded, the results are published or are announced, and they look at possibilities of the two parties forming some kind of coalition of some kind. Yeah, that can happen. Yeah.
We're going to see a lot of that post the elections, aren't we? All these
Yes.
coalitions being formed.
Yes, yeah, we're going to see a lot of that once the results are out, and as we projecting that if any of the parties fails to master the 50% plus electoral mark, then they'll be forced to engage in coalition talks, coalition arrangements as part of forming a government of national unity.
And also the smaller parties as well, I should imagine, would form coalitions to create a stronger opposition to whomever is going to be in the governing situation or the governing position.
Yes, right, Judy. So every vote will count, every seat will count that these parties will be bringing to Parliament once that eventuality happens. So any of the parties, irrespective of size, small or big, they will have to enter into some kind of dialogue with a view to forge a government of national unity. So they all stand a chance.
Oops. Oh, there you are. You're back again. Apologies for that. Okay, so in his speech, Mmusi Maime has made many promises, including decentralizing policing. That's a huge one. I'm wondering, if he will have enough muster to be able to do that. He's also introduced models for energy and releasing capacity to advance in renewable energy and fixing Transnet, to name but a few. And we do know that Transnet is in the headlines currently because the CEO has resigned. So we do know Transnet, we've known for a long time, Transnet's been in as deep trouble as is Eskom. Those are the two issues that I think the public is going to keep their eye on. And if political parties can promise to fix those two public enterprises and will be able to deliver thereafter, they will definitely be the kingmakers, won't they?
Yes, you're right, Julie. So what Mmusi Maime presented over the weekend is similar to what Action SA has already announced after their policy conference as part of the outcomes. They are dealing with issues of rule of law. They are also focusing on the issue of addressing crime, beefing up the law enforcement agencies, addressing issues of corruption and all of that. So what Mmusi Maime is saying is not totally different or new, okay, or groundbreaking. But what he needs to do, as I stated earlier, he needs to come up or articulate a compelling vision based on one or two issues. It's either economic reforms, he focuses on that as part of selling the vision of the party to the electorate, or focuses on anti-corruption as an angle he wants to take, but he cannot focus on a whole range of other issues that have already been covered by the other political parties. As I said, it's a highly contested, competitive space. The electorate will have to make a decision and judgment based on what these political parties are selling. They are providing as part of solutions to addressing a myriad of socioeconomic conditions and challenges facing the country.
And of course, if they make way too many promises, they won't be able to deliver, because you need the manpower and the resources to ensure delivery. So they need to be realistic, focus on one or two really key issues, and make sure they work really hard at delivering on those issues. But that's where we're going to leave it. Thank you indeed, as always, for your deep insights into these matters. Till the next time, as always, go well and God bless.
Great. Thanks, Julie. Bye.
It is exactly 8:30 a.m. News and Views on Salam Media, and standing by to talk with us is Zilendile Masango about that wood chip mill fire in Richards Bay. We're going to talk about just how much of damage has that caused, and where do we stand now regarding that fire. Please stay with us. This is News and Views on Salam Media.